second. Trying to get a stronger Wi-Fi signal. Make sure you can hear me. Good stronger signal. Is there anybody in here? Because I can't tell. You hit the like button if you don't want to comment and let me know if you can hear me. I'm taking a minute for my Wi-Fi. If you can hear me, can you hit the like button? If there's anybody in here. I think I got a low signal. And I don't know if my mic is on. Just taking a minute. Mic check, mic check. Phone to see if the signal. Oh no. I can't tell. Give me a second, y'all. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm trying to grab my other phone because I can't tell if my mic is on. That's the only thing I hate about going live straight through YouTube. When you go right through to YouTube, because I can't tell. It doesn't, like, and there's no sign to let me know that the mic is on. So give me 1 second. Says I'm connected, but am I connected? There we go. I just wanted to briefly talk about this since I didn't get to talk about it yesterday. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, it is on. Dang, not one person could hit the like button for me? Yeah, okay, finally somebody hit it. Like, well, I had to go grab my other phone to see if y'all can hear me. But, alright, let me go ahead and let me buckle my seatbelt and roll. Let's briefly talk about this Karmelo Anthony thing. And talk about a few other stuff. You never know what randomly might come up with me. I am driving. I won't be able to do my other lives that I keep rescheduling because I have been running later loads. The load that I'm driving now, I probably won't stop until late tonight. So I won't be able to do my commentary, but I'm gonna get around to it because it's actually a good comment. It's gonna be a good show. But all right, so to talk about this Karmelo Anthony thing, when I tell you, as a child growing up in Florida, if anybody don't know me, I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida, and I learned at a very young age the price of being black in America. The schools that I went to, went through, and then I think the first time I remember it was this one movie called Rosewood. I watched it. I think I was in like 6th grade or 5th grade or something like that. And that's the first time I watched that movie. I remember I cried because it was the movie was sad. It was gonna make you cry. But that's when I think I started to, in my little fragile mind, innocent mind, put the little pieces together about racism and color and stuff, because I never even looked at color, like, because my mom didn't really raise us that way, to hate white people or anything like that. We were just taught, like, to be cautious of them, and if you ever get in a situation, it's best to, like, get away from them and handle it later or whatever, But I think I didn't realize like what hatred was until I watched that movie Rosewood. And I think as I began to develop into a woman, and then into an adult, having my own personal life experiences, I've been arrested a few times over bullshit, especially like white women tears that get you locked up all the time, right? One time I got locked up, right, because a white woman lying and shit, right? I knew that as I was growing up that the price of being black. You realize that I don't know where you was where were you as a child when you realized that your skin tone was going to be a hurdle, right? Because I don't want to call it, because it just, when you realize it's going to be an obstacle, you like, your obstacle ain't going to be like the same. It's going to be a bunch of hurdles, right? Because of the skin, that it's going to stop you from entering in certain spaces. I think I really accepted that when I was like maybe 17 going on 18, right? When I realized that my skin tone was going to keep me from certain opportunities. Because being from Florida, I just dealt with a lot of racist stuff. Racist cops, racist teachers, racist systems, like, or whatever. And I remember I was like talking to someone about this, and I think I recently brought it up again on Upper's channel, that when I keep thinking about how hard it is for black mothers out here, like, my heart really do be going out here to y'all, like, especially when you raising like black sons. You feel what I'm saying? But when I actually like sit and think about how difficult it is to choose to be a parent, or even though some of y'all probably ain't choose, some of y'all probably was irresponsible and had kids, have some boot babies out there. But when I really thought about, hey Queen Yay, what's up, baby? Hey Angel. So I can't really read your comment because I'm driving. I can peep over real quick, see your name, but I can't focus on reading the comments. I gotta concentrate on the road. But when I thought about like, dang, what was I? When I was talking about, dang, what I was just talking about? I've been losing my focus a lot lately too. That's how I know I'm distracted too. So I really need to cut out some of the noise in the background. Okay, I was talking about like how I kind of like, my heart goes out to black mothers, like, period. Like, especially when you're raising black sons. And when I was on Upper's channel, the girls up there did a great commentary, learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Hopefully, if it's enough outrage about what happened to Karmelo Anthony, that maybe this boy can get a retrial or appeal, because it was so obvious that, and it's been spread, I don't know which, some of the stuff might be misinformation, people exaggerating, because black people will, exaggerate a story real quick and spread it. But it seemed like to me from other credible people that there was a lot of evidence that was suppressed. And when this story first happened, I knew that they was going to not let Karmelo Anthony get away with this. I knew it. I just knew it. Like, in my mind, like, before any witnesses or any receipts came out or whatever, I knew, like, America was like, black kid kills a white kid, and then they were kids. Yeah, they gonna throw him under the bus. Like, I knew that. I wasn't one of those people who even had hope. That's why I barely watched any of the trials. Like, I probably tuned in to Nick at Night a few times just to support that sister, because I really like Nick at Night. Nick at Night is one of one of my top influencers that I like to watch on YouTube. I've been watching her for years, and so I like to just support her sometimes. But she don't let me on her channel a few times, so she cool. But I really didn't watch too much of it, because I can just tell when I realized, like, the jury selection, when I found out that the media was purposely encouraging the Proud Boys, and then of course the Black Panther, and Black militia, what they call it, the Black militia coming out there, you know, whatever, to keep the peace and to keep other black people safe or whatever. I knew that the media was definitely trying to hype this up because America's like this whole scary matrix that we live in, and y'all know I call it that because I can see the code. I can see that this is all orchestrated. Like, this stuff is no coincidence. Like, the people that run this world, the elites, man, when I tell you that they just got this shit programmed to the T that you could just literally predict what's gonna happen. And they know that it's so important to keep people minds focusing on the dumbest shit, or, you know, to keep their mind focused on like not irrelevant stuff. Keep their mind focused on just distract them from distract the people from actually seeing the truth of what's going on, you know, behind the scenes or whatever, because they know once a group of people rise up, it is possible for them to overthrow a government. We don't see that numerous times throughout history through different countries, but they do a good job making sure they distract people in this country, in America, especially white folks, right? They do a good job at it. When I realized that the jury selection was garbage, those, you know, the racist people came out, and then, you know, Texas, the history of Texas. Like I said on Upper's Live, I told Upper that I can't put myself in any mother's shoes because I'm not a biological parent. I never had biological kids, so I never had that close connection that one has with a biological child. But when I kept trying to think with my mentality that I have now, I was telling Upper her chat, like, man, honestly, if I was in that situation, especially with especially with the revolutionary heart and mind that I have now, I told him I wouldn't even have took a risk of letting this country judge my child, and through the court system. I would have probably helped my kid get out of this country. Like, I probably couldn't send him to Cuba because, you know, Cuba got their own issues going on, like, you know. But my baby would be out of this country. My baby would have been in Mexico, somewhere, South America, or something. Like, I wouldn't even have trusted, because I would have known that the cards was going to be stacked up against him, and this game is not fair. But we always have to pay the heaviest price of being black, simply because there is a sick mentality among a group of people who believe that they're more superior than another race of people because of religious beliefs. And it's sickening, right? And I know when I talk like this, like when I say things like that, it turns people off. You know, I didn't want to disrupt Upper's chat, you know, with too much of my religious criticism, because, you know, I really enjoy watching her content. And then her chat don't fuck with me. You know, they let me say what I say most of the time, but I try not to push it over there, you know, because I'm already, y'all know, I can't really rock nowhere else, because, you know, everywhere I go, everybody hates Neo, right? But I was like, you know, I'll probably say one little thing, but I know, because I'm awake from the program, and I don't deconstruct it from Christianity and any Abrahamic religion, that I know the mentality of why these people believe that they are superior. And 9 times out of 10, like, it's backed up because of their personal religious beliefs. I know people don't like when I say that, but Christianity, hands down, promotes white supremacy, especially in this country, right? It's a program they purposely instill into black people because, number one, they know it's not going to help us get anywhere. They know us believing in white Jesus or black Jesus or whatever you believe in, believing in Christianity is not going to defeat white supremacy, because white supremacy is, Christianity is from the foundation of white supremacy. The so-called religion of love is the reason why these people think they have an authority over you. most white Christians do believe that black people are cursed, right? They believe that when they talk about the curse of Ham or the curse of Canaan or whatever, they they kind of misinterpret or whatever, but they believe that the dark skinned race are a cursed people. They truly believe. Some of them ain't gonna admit it, some of them are, right? That's why they made sure when this religion began to spread and over the world to go, take over the world, they made sure they made even the Jesus a white man, right? Because everybody knows if I put up an image of a white Jesus up on this, if I put up an image of Jesus and it's a white person, a white man, and if I ain't even got to say who is this, there is a permanent imagery of a ideal in our minds of what Jesus looked like, right? Because they put a lot of it in their cinema, they put a lot of it in their artwork. Me growing up as a child, I used to read a lot of picture Bibles, especially like children Bibles is a lot. Looking at the people in the Bible were white, Jesus was white. It's a program, it's indoctrination. They need black people to believe in Christianity for them to stay on top. They need the what's the word I'm looking for? They need the white folks who refuse to critically think. Because I don't want to say they stupid, because not everybody who is subscribed to Christianity is stupid, right? It's indoctrination. But they lack critical thinking skills, right? They need people to stay racist. They need them to not practice critical thinking skills. That's why a lot of them promote not getting your education. A lot of them, that's why they don't want their kids going to college, right? They need y'all to believe in this stuff so the system can keep working, right? Because every time I keep thinking about what happened to Karmelo, right? Every time it keeps playing in my head, even though I probably can't get the visual perfect in my mind because I wasn't there. But just trying to sift through the narrative and what could be possibly true, what's most logically what happened, understand human natures, bullies, or whatever. The only thing Karmelo did that wound up ruining his life, right, was go somewhere where he didn't realize it was dangerous for him to be. Him seeing the friend of somebody who he thought was his friend, a Mitts boy, from what I heard, I think they say he was Mitts. So it ain't no telling what that biracial kid was struggling with, because I don't want to call him black. I hate when people make you call biracial people black. I call them whatever they want to be called when I ask them, but if I don't know what they prefer, I stick with the facts. They're biracial. They're not one race, they're multiple races. So, and that part played another reason why they cowered out and let that boy get thrown under the bus. Pretend like he didn't really know Karmelo like that. Only thing Karmelo wanted, hey, what's up, Choco Kitty? I don't know how long you was in here. Hey, Chris, baby. Love you, baby. So I gotta call you later. I got a question for you. So, who else was in here? Miss Shirley, I see you in here. Y'all, I ain't gonna be able to read the comments. I just glanced over as I'm looking at my GPS, because I got my GPS going at the same time. So that's how I'm able to see y'all names, but I can't read the comments because I gotta focus on the road. But so I'm not purposely ignoring nobody. I'm driving, but I can see y'all names when I look over. But shout out to y'all. Oh, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for coming in. But make sure I please hit that like button. No, for real. So when I think about that, only thing Karmelo did wrong was assuming that he was safe, in a safe place, that he can roam freely, right? And you know what? I ain't gonna even say roam. Well, no, because he did. You know what? I'm gonna take that, because I'm trying to word this in a way, because he wasn't wrong. The only thing that Karmelo Anthony underestimated, because I ain't gonna say that boy was wrong, because he didn't do nothing wrong but fucking exist, right? He didn't choose his skin color. Nature chose his skin color. The universe chose his skin color. And if you believe in a God chose his skin color. Only thing that man did was think that it's okay and underestimate his environment, right? That he went over, then I'm telling you, murder was not on that young man's mind. What was on his mind when he woke up that day was to be a team player and to go help his team out, even though he was not running. He was on the varsity team, but to go support the junior varsity, showed up to support his school, support his teammates. Because it rained and because he wanted to get out of the rain. He saw somebody he recognized, went over to the dude, sat down or whatever. Because of this indoctrination and this false belief that, a lot of these racist people wind up, believing, because don't get it twisted. I'm one of those people, I absolutely am not, I don't have any issue with white people, period. Right? Because of their skin color. I know that their racism is taught, right? Nobody jumps out of the womb claiming a God or saying I hate you. I know that this stuff is instilled into them, right? Not giving them a pass, but I know that it's taught. Now you get some of them who, they grow out of it and realize it's bullshit, but it takes a special type of person to realize that. But because I know, regardless of no matter how people want to twist this, and however they thought Austin was or whatever, I know that Austin was indoctrinated and conditioned that he knew that he had an advantage over Karmelo simply because the color of his skin. He knew that he could walk up to a black kid and treat him however he wanted to treat to him, talk to him however he wanted to talk to him, and there wouldn't be no consequences to his action, right? Austin don't own the team. Austin doesn't, he's not a teacher or whatever. He was a student at the school that he attends. And it wasn't like, I would kind of understand if they was asking Karmelo to leave, if he was being disruptive, if he was tearing up their equipment, harassing some people, sitting down, talking to someone, talking to his friends, and joke about who got the better team or whatever. And maybe Austin got triggered because his team was trash. That's what I heard. That was one of the testimonies, that Karmelo made a joke about the team being trash. Even though it's competition, friendly competition, people be taking these high school rivalry shit too fucking serious, but because Austin knew, a lot of white people know that, a lot of racist white people know that. Like even with the white woman who got me locked up, she knew that she could lie to those cops, tell them people that I threatened to kill a dog and I had a gun, and when they went to look for me the next day, she knew her white tears and her white complexion that they weren't gonna hear my side of the story. I was gonna have to prove my innocence once I get to court. Her testimony was enough, right? He knew it. And the confidence and the authority to the point that he even knew, man, I can push this kid. I can jack him up and push him out, and there ain't gonna be no consequence. I'm not gonna get in trouble for assaulting him, right? He knew that. You could just tell by the conversation, especially when it came out that other students who were under their tent, wasn't a part of their school, witnessed what happened, whatever. It came out that a lot of people was like, yo, a lot of kids go under other people's tent. It's not even a big deal. And for everybody, and what a lot of people were saying, they didn't even know it was a rule that you got to be under the school to be up under a tent, right? But there were some people, you would think the circumstances that if you see somebody who you don't know under your tent and it is raining, common sense would tell you that this person is just trying to get out the damn rain themselves. Like, why did it bother Austin so much that Karmelo was there? Right? Why did it bother him? Why did it bother them so bad? Because when I was watching Uppers Live yesterday, I forgot who it was, but one of the women on there made a valid point when she talked about how the media loves to push that black people are just so violent and savages and unhinged, when the truth is that we are the most welcoming, friendliest people in acceptance of other people races. Like, we invite people into our spaces, even when we, not really sure if they want us in their space. We welcome them into our spaces, into our churches. That's how Dylan Roof was able to shoot up a church of black people. And I want to remind you that, regardless how you feel about me, I'm just going to state what happened. God didn't protect those people from getting shot up. I mean, the most holiest place you would think a church would be protected, but that's another Bible study. I just want to remind y'all, Jesus, that they got shot up while they believed in Jesus in the church. But even with Dylan Root, right, they let him in because we're naturally like that, right? We do have our bad apples. Like, every race have their bad apples. Like, but when our race do something fucked up, like the little 17-year-old who I think it's happened in Mississippi, some 17-year-old kid don't kill 2 white folks, so they over there, black people, all types of monkeys, and they want to hang us and bring back the KKK, and so they over there just ready to retaliate against us. That hold on, y'all, I gotta look at this map real quick. See which way I'm going. Okay, so as much as they want to, like, they purposely push that out, that we're so violent, right? But the truth is, we the most welcoming. We invite people to our cookouts. Growing up, one of my mom's best friend was a white woman, right? Sweet white lady too. Like, she was real cool. One of her best friends, not her, but one of them, who came around. Like, when I was a kid, my first official best friend was a white girl. Growing up, we was just not raised to, like, we wasn't raised to fear white people. We was raised to, like, just be cautious. I mean, we be friendly, right? But be cautious. Like, if you see something don't look right, get away, right? But one of the girls in Uppers Live brought that up. It said, what about if Karmelo was a white boy and Austin was a black boy, in the school there was a majority black students, and it was a white boy that came under their tent? Do y'all really think they have a story of a black boy, a white kid, to get from under the tent because it's raining? Like, when they reversed it like that, like, I was like, of course not, right? Because we know ourselves as a people. Like, we're walking it, right? If it ain't no bull crazy shit like gang affiliated shit, like gang territories and shit like that, because people who are involved in that low vibrational behavior, them motherfuckers kill themselves. It don't matter what your skin tone is. That's some sick shit that them motherfuckers deal with, killing themselves over property that don't belong to them, right? But 9 times out of 10, we were saying that, well, hell, we probably would be in there joking with him and giving him a water bottle, is you good, or oh, you got wet, or making little jokes or something, sugar melt in the rain, like, probably tease him a little bit. But most likely nobody would be telling him to leave, because we know that he's under the tent, because it's raining. Nobody would be, like, really focusing on, like, a hatred towards him, right? And I just thought that was some real shit, because I said, look at the price of us being black here in this country. And we pay a hefty fee. We pay a hefty fee, regardless of how people want to, like, say that there's no more systematic racism and whatever. Yeah, it is. A lot of these, like, racism never went away. A lot of people just did a good job of just suppressing their inner feelings about it and keeping it to themselves. Now, Trump made it better that they willing to come out and open and racism again. Like the now, like the a lot of more racist people are showing their damn faces. Like I'm finna give you an example. I just had a situation where I was getting my truck fixed. The guy who was fixing my truck, he was cool, but they didn't realize that when I walked up on them, before they knew how close I was to the truck, I got a gist of the conversation of what they was talking about, and they was talking about the Karmelo Anthony thing, right? And of course, them being white men, all white men that was involved in this conversation, I heard them all saying that they, of course, they sided with Austin and they feel like Karmelo got what he deserved, right? But even though I ain't hear them say nothing too crazy, I ain't hear the N word or something that would be like hate speech or racism. But they definitely, felt like they got a victory that day, right? So once the guy realized that I was like close towards the truck to go, put my stuff back in the truck, so as he was fixing on it, I spooked one of them because they was trying to see if did I hear what they were saying or what, but of course I just pretend like I didn't. So I played it off like, hey, I'm just putting my clothes in my truck, I just did some laundry, let me know when my truck is ready, right? So the guy was like, oh yeah, come here, the guy over here really want to talk to you, blah blah blah. And then I'm looking at him like, what do you want to talk about? So he sparked up a conversation, and one guy was telling me what they was doing from the truck, and like all these white guys was just being so extra friendly to me as they was talking to me, asking me what I'm about to go order and eat. And in my mind, I'm thinking they trying to test me to see if I heard what they were saying or if I'm angry or whatever. But in my mind, of course, I played it off. I was my friendly self. Oh no, I'm good. I just finished washing my clothes. Thank you for taking care of my truck and getting me in at a reasonable time. And then I was just, I told him I appreciate what he's doing. He saved me some money, so I don't think he racist because he could have towed up my truck. He actually did something that helped me save some money. So of course I wasn't judging the mechanic that was working on my truck, but I was definitely judging the man he was talking to, right? But I remember I said, dang, like, they will be friendly and, act like they tolerate you and, whatever. But when they in the comforts of their own circle or behind closed doors, they really express how they feel. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I be telling people all the time, like, look, I'm gonna be real. I fucks with certain white people, right? Especially when they liberal. Like it's very. I mean, they do have some racist liberals, but you ain't gonna find too often. Rarely, it's usually the ones that got a small dick or some shit and they mad at the world or something. But it's nothing like coming across a white person that gets it. Right, and after I talk to them, like letting them know what's going, how I feel about stuff and hear their point of view, I often keep telling them that, hey, y'all know that y'all gonna have to be the one to end racism. Black people don't have the economic power here. We don't even have the enough unity amongst ourselves. Like y'all did a good job destroying us. You feel what I'm saying? You didn't wipe us out. But you did a good job destroying our mentality. You took our gods away from us, number one. Right? You took our identity away from us. You took the language away from us. You took our nature away from us and gave us your culture. Right? And then on top of giving us your culture, when we decide to finally live how y'all say we should live, to your culture, you know what I'm saying? You decided that, okay, well, that ain't good enough. America need to find more ways to make money. They don't got rid of slavery and stuff, so America's struggling to fund itself. So they decide to bring in drugs purposely. Cold crack. You know how the crack epidemic happened? That was the government purposely making money. The CIA funded itself. By purposely dumping drugs into our community, right? And then you want to get a pat on the back for helping try to clean it up. And then don't try to act like why a lot of the issues that we have today is not in a direct result of the crack epidemic, right? After the civil rights movement, after they decided that they didn't want to be racist sources no more because they realized the black dollar is just as green as the white dollar, somebody still decided to say, let's still like still try to destroy these people, right? Because the price of being black, I'm telling you, it's a high fee, because we constantly have to be reminded here in this country that no matter, even if we play by their fucking rules, if they decide that they need to still show us who's boss, show us who's really in control, or if they need to just make some fucking money to fund wars, black people are dispensable, right? Oh, they gonna find a way to just throw us over the bus. They gonna hurt us before they hurt they folks, they own folks, right? And it's like, once you like really just understand that, like once you see the code and you see the program, I was just telling like Upper, like, because I know all this stuff, that the history of this country, like, it's like, if it is a God, then I don't understand why he just won't fuck these people up who are doing this shit. It's a lot of innocent blood shed here, right? Karmelo got judged because he was black. They did not see a black child committing a crime. They seen a black man. They refused to acknowledge that he did this as a minor. In the state of Texas, there's a case that's going viral right now. People bringing up a case where a white boy stabbed another student in the bathroom. And mind you, 3 times. I think it was like 3 in the front, 3 in the back, multiple stabbing. And they charged that boy with manslaughter. And he did not get nowhere near as much time as Karmelo got. But Karmelo was assaulted, right? Now, was him, pulling out the knife, was it a little extreme? In my opinion, yeah. But at the same time, me being black, I know how I feel to be scared. And you don't know what's finna, you don't know if you finna get jumped. You don't know if they, you already know that, ain't nobody gonna take your word for it, because it's white people against you, so you already know they're gonna believe them. I can't say what was going through Karmelo's mind, but I don't care what nobody say. He clearly showed every sign of remorse after he did what he did. So to me, purposely, that proves that it was not premeditated, right? It was just a impulsive decision that he made right then and there due to the lack of experiences and not understanding the consequences of his action, right? Texas is a terrible place. I remember the first time I really cried over it. And then, mind you, when this happened, I didn't even understand racism yet, but I remember the first time I cried over some shit that I remember hearing happen in Texas when I was a child. I remember, I think I was like 8 or 9, if I recall this correctly. I remember the story of a group of white men kidnapping a black guy. I forgot what happened, what made them do this sick, demonic shit. But they tied his body to and drug him around, till he died, and drug him to pieces. Like, they drugged this man to death. And I kept asking myself, what can possess someone to be so fucking cruel? Like, even studying the civil rights movement, even when finding out what happened to Emmett Till as a child, me being from Florida, finding out what happened in Rosewood, aka Gainesville. For anybody who's familiar with Florida, Rosewood was Gainesville, right? Finding out what happened in Rosewood, how these people were they was even killing black kids. Finding out the history behind the term alligator baby, or alligator bait, that in certain cities in Florida used to buy babies, enslaved babies, or kidnap black babies so they can use them as alligator bait. Like, I was like, what is it that y'all truly believe that people with these type of mentality and that type of nature as a collective, not as individuals, because all white people ain't racist, right? That you would think that they would give you a God or promote a God that would help fight against them, right? To keep them from oppressing you, keep them from dragging, unaliving you, and all that. Like, if you really just think about it, if they robbed you of everything that made you black, African or Indian, whatever the fuck you want, to people who believe you're Native American, but most likely you're African, right? Then why would you trust the God that they worship to help you or to get you, you know what I'm saying, or to favor you if the God that they believe in is the reason why you're here. That's the type of critical thinking that I be trying to get people to think of. Why when I keep telling everybody that there's going to be there's a great awakening. Yes, there's a great falling away of a lot of black people, falling away from all Abrahamic religions, right? Not even just Christianity, you know, just all of it. Because when they just kept really thinking about it, I was like, if you notice and do your research, if you don't believe me, every country that Christianity tried to penetrate, where white people were the, you know, the front runners of it, the Europeans and the people in proximity of them, notice that they could not take over those countries. Notice that they couldn't, you know, take over, you know, China, Japan, and Thailand, and all them countries that, you know, where the Asian race mostly reside. Notice that they really could not penetrate through those countries because those countries rejected their gods. Notice that certain countries in Africa, because I got to remind everybody that Africa is a big ass continent, not a country. Not every country in Africa was colonized. Notice the countries that refuse this religion of any Abrahamic religion. Notice that they're more at peace with each other, or they're more not advanced, more well, yeah, some of them are advanced. It depends on where you go. Notice that the countries that refuse to accept this religion, these people still have their identity, right? They still have their gods or their beliefs and their traditions and their way of life. They still have the connection to the nature, their environment, their homes, and they reject it. But if you look at the countries that accepted Christianity, shambles. Go look at what's going on in the Congo right now. Right? Only if you can handle it. Now, if you got a lot of emotional things going on right now, don't go watch that, because it's going to make you depressed. But look at all the wars and stuff in places where people tried to spread Islam or they tried to spread Christianity. Look how fucked up these places are. Who is willing to accept this religion? You know? And it's because, number one, I keep telling you that the powers that be, they know that this stuff ain't real. Like I keep telling y'all, the people who really run this whole entire world, they know it's real, but they know it's not real. They just need people to believe in it so they can just get control. They need people to believe in it, right? But with Karmelo Anthony, I knew it when I first heard that the prosecutor was purposely striking all the black people, right? And then when I heard some of the dumbass black people admitting that they would be fucking biased instead of trying to save this kid's life, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. All kin folks, all skin folks ain't kin folks. Some of us are not for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are not for black empowerment, black excellence. They are not pro-black. Okay, some of them are not. You know, especially if they've been indoctrinated with Christianity. But you would think that once, like me, I ain't gonna lie, y'all know I practice honesty, but you know I did admit that, hey, if I have to tell a lie, if it helps somebody, right, for a benefit to save someone from harm, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? I would not have been honest if I was one of the people who was on that stand. I would have been like, yeah, I see what y'all doing here. I'm finna act like I'm already biased and I think he did it, right? I would tell like, nah, man, he need to get judged. Yeah, I could judge right if he did it. Like I would not have admitted that I'm biased. Everybody's biased. Everybody has a bias, but I would not have admitted it. I would have said everything I needed to say to make sure I was one of those juries on that stand, and I would have helped the old boy get a mistrial. Like I wouldn't have found him guilty on purpose. I don't care how much evidence they would have had. It's that I would have known what was going on. I would have peeped that, right? I would have had to try to save him because I already knew what it was. Karmelo didn't have a history of being a bully. Austin did, right? But I would have found a way to try to protect that kid, man. Give him a fair, fighting chance. You know what I'm saying? I would have made sure I got on the stand, but you had dumbass black people sitting up here saying, no, I can't convict him. I would have let them, yeah, I can do my job. Yeah, I can judge. Yeah. You know, I don't see race. Lying through the teeth. I would have just did it just so I can help that baby. Common sense, knowing what's going on. Right? Because when we brought up the Rick Child, when we talked about Rick Child getting away with unaliving, right? When we talked about that happening to him, when they kept saying, oh, it was black jurors on that, I kept looking at everybody and I said, yeah, black jurors. I said, how much you want to bet? 9 times out of 10, they were Christians though. How much you want to bet they were? South Carolina, Bible Belt. They just went in. If they had one white person in there who was leading that the jury, you know, they got the head jury, whatever. They had one white person. I said they're gonna go with what the white person say. All right, instead of using their common sense. That how you can't say that somebody didn't have malice if they chased somebody with a damn gun before he knew they had a gun. It's like it's the dumbest shit that I this is why I was telling Up on her live that even in this country, our justice system, I know people like give us credit for our justice system, but it's not as good as it could possibly be. It could be a lot better. Like, trust me, it ain't the worst place, but it could be a lot better if they would just do common sense shit with it. I would never understand why it takes judge to go to law school and have like over 10 to 15 years worth of experience of practicing the law for them to become a judge, right? Because they are the ones who help interpret the law and enforce it, right? And a lawyer who goes and practice law, that they have to go to school for at least a minimum about 6 to 8 years, right, for them to become lawyers, because there's a lot to learn and interpret and, you know, whatever, understand the jargon. But to have people, the jury, what they say, the jury of your peers, to have people who only have a couple of days to a week to interpret what they think the law says and what it means, and if they agree about it, people who ain't never studied no law, everyday people, that they have to judge if somebody broke the law or not, even though they don't have the experience. I always felt like jury should be a government job, just like lawyers and public defenders and clerks. I feel like that each state should have a certain amount of number of people on their rosters who go to school to study a law or whatever. It can be a bachelor degree, an AS degree. They can make it as small as that. That somehow that these people had practice or had. I don't know how long I went out for. I went out for a little bit. So I have no idea. Okay, somebody real quick just tell me what's the last thing y'all heard, because I just realized when I looked over at my GPS, I was out. I see y'all had to delete somebody comment, but I don't know what's the last thing y'all heard, but I'm gonna just walk it back. You said I was out for about like 10, so okay, if it was 10 seconds, then y'all stood her. So I was saying that I don't understand why they should have juries who know what they're doing, they already been tested, that they have reading comprehension skills, they can understand the English language, they can understand the culture. Even people who have studied, like part of the criteria they should have a degree on studying cultures. Black people, white people, Asian people, Mexican people, we're not all raised the same values. You know what I'm saying? If somebody say, don't touch me and find out, that was a warning. That wasn't provoke, right? But somehow the prosecutors interpreted that was provoke, even though that in the black community, we knew that was a warning. That wasn't telling the person, like encouraging them to do it. That was us saying, if you do it, there's going to be a consequence. something is gonna happen. It's like I wish a nigga would type of mentality. I don't know if y'all remember when Cedric the Entertainer used to joke about that. Black people have a I wish a nigga would mentality, right? But that's not provoked. We don't want like really want you to do it. It was just like if you do it, you're gonna get a consequence. You know, so your best, the safest thing to do is not do it. But they took it as it was provoked, like that made Austin touch. No, only person that made Austin touch Karmelo was Austin. Why? Because he knew as a white boy, a white big boy. Number one, he know he bigger than Karmelo, so he felt perfect like he could beat his ass if they fought, right? And number two, he knew he was white. He knew he had that privilege. He knew he wasn't gonna get in trouble. They say boys gonna be boys. They know that. So, but I feel like, yeah, I do feel like they should be more educated. I never, because that rich child thing, I knew it. I said that wouldn't. I said Rick Child. I don't think Rick Child would have got away with that if he was in a blue state, in a more liberal state. I don't think, like, you know, states that majority of a lot of the residents are educated people, like at least at a minimum have their high school diploma. You know, them southern states, they be dropping out in the 8th grade, or if they do graduate from high school, they reading on the 6th grade level. You know. Being from Florida have the worst education system like out there, right? So if they do even go to high school, some of these kids, when they go to college, the college realize, because they even had to make statements about it, when these kids go to their school and stuff, they realize that the school kids got to take what is called intermediate classes, right? Because they're not even reading on grade level. They in a university or college reading on the 6th grade school level, and they realize that, and a lot of people who are coming from these southern states. But you know, there's a whole theory behind that. But I just feel like when I kept thinking about it, I was like, that was malice. How can that not? You're chasing someone with a gun. You chased him with a gun for some bottles of water that you thought he had. You chased him, right? But he got off. Price of being black. That you can shoot a child in the back, right? And you can convince, a jury can be convinced that that child's life didn't have no value. Like, come on, like even like Trayvon Martin, minding their business. The price of being black here, it costs. It's a big fee. It ain't cheap. Sometimes it can get so expensive, or the price of being black here, some of us unfortunately gonna have to pay with our lives. The common sense. And I often keep telling y'all, the group of people who purposely made their laws so there can be so many loopholes and so many exceptions, and depending on how much money you got and the color of your skin, and that you know, a judge can sentence the same crime if a person, let's just, for example, let's say if a person robs a bank, that a judge and the judge don't even have to sentence a set by law standard. The judge can choose to sentence somebody to probation in a couple of years versus sentence somebody who committed that same crime 20 years to life. Like, that's like, even with that, like, I remember one time I called this one cop out. He tried to give me a ticket. Like, he gave me a ticket because I ain't gonna lie, I back talked him a little bit because I knew he was fucking with me and my sister because we was black, right? I knew it. I knew he was bored. You could tell he was sitting there. He probably had no action. Me and my sister rode past him on a moped, and he claimed that he pulled us over because he wanted to see how old we were, even though it was obvious that we were adults. As soon as you realized that we were adults, and you got upset with me because I was like, okay, can we go now? Like, we're both adults. We don't have to have on helmets wearing this moped. He didn't like how I asked him can I go? So he just kept on, you know, questioning me, interrogating me until he found that my address didn't match where I live at. Now, mind you, I didn't know he was fishing to give me a ticket on something because I had gave him a little lip by looking at him like, you just was fucking with us. Like, bro, it's obvious that it was two adults on this thing. Like, we don't look like little kids under the age of 13. You get what I'm saying? We don't look like that young. Like, I understand you mistaking us as like late teenagers, but we don't look under 13. But I remember he just kept fishing, and then he found something. Oh, you gotta change your address within 2 weeks after you move, because he asked me how long I was living at my new address. And mind you, I wouldn't think he was fishing. And I told him, I said, oh, I've been there. I just moved to my place about a month ago. He wrote me a ticket. Oh, you supposed to change your address. So I got a ticket for that shit, right? And then I remember I looked, I'm like, damn, this ticket high as shit. And when I went to go read to see, you know, what could have been the cheapest, he could have gave me a way cheaper ticket, but he gave me a higher ticket at the max. But somebody else can get a lower ticket. And I say, see, that shit shouldn't be like that. It should be a law. This is the price if you break this rule. How come a cop get to determine how high the goddamn ticket can be? Knowing that a lot of these people gonna give into their prejudice. If they're not racist, they will be prejudiced. They're gonna target a certain demographic of people, especially if they got a chip on their shoulder, right? Every time they pull somebody over, they might purposely give all black people higher tickets. We already know black people. It's historically known and factually documented in this country that black people are more over sentenced than any other race here. Factual. I covered a story where a man was raping his own child, right? Raping his own child, had kitty porn and all that stuff. You would think, I just knew the judge was gonna throw him under the bus. The judge gave this man 2 years and like 15 years probation, saying that he felt like that, you know, he'll do better outside the jail than in jail. And I'm like, nigga, his child, his own child, and he had PC on his phone. He's a predator. What you mean he gonna do better? He needs to be away from the community. But we know that they under-sentence themselves and they over-sentence us. The price of being black, we know that. I get it. I get it. Not even like me moving out here. I mean, out here driving this truck. Like, I'm driving through multiple states each day. Even I know, be careful how I move, right? Even when sometimes they be trying to race bait you. They be, you know, if you turn on your CB radio, you'll have a weirdo motherfucker start talking shit. Oh, is there any black people here tonight? We gonna slit your throat. Like, they'll say little stuff like that. I used to hear dumb shit like that all the time. So I keep the radio off, right? I don't have one in this truck yet. I ain't bought my new CB yet. But like in the old truck I used to have to hear that. Like, if I leave the radio on, you hear some creep coming over the internet. It was like, oh, I seen a black girl with a red shirt. What truck she in? And yeah, mama, sleep tight tonight. We're gonna slit your throat, nigger. You know, like saying stuff like that. Weirdos, right? And I'm sitting up here like, how do one become like that? Because, you know, y'all know I'm not religious, but I still entertain spirituality. Maybe subconsciously I still entertain spirituality because maybe I need my brain function better if I need hope, like some type of hope behind it, you know. But I also tell people, like, look, I can't prove none of this shit. I just believe in a theory. I believe in assimilation theory. I believe in spirituality. I believe that it's all orchestrated. I think there's some science behind some of it, especially when you look into astrology, but it's not 100% proven fact. So maybe I do that to believe in spiritual stuff just so I can still comfort myself from all the suffering. Because y'all remember I told y'all I thought about going atheist. I did. I entertained it for a little bit, but I don't do well under like atheism beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But trust me, I love my atheists. You get what I'm saying? They just lack belief. They have a no nonsense. They don't entertain of that spooky shit and all that. They want to see it facts and proven and stuff. I think I just one of those people. I have too much of an artistic mind. I have too much of imagination, and I think that's probably why most atheists, they're not, a lot of them really not that creative. They're a little gray sometimes, if that makes sense. They're a little 50 shades of gray, like gray, not sexual. I'm talking about just like, not, they don't have creativity most times. Not all, but usually when you see them, they're not into the arts and stuff. So, but I think my brain, this is when I kept thinking about it, I think I just have too much of a big imagination. I have too much creativity in my mind to just not believe in something. So I think that's why when I went looking to understand something that helps me understand what I believe, that's why I think I, said, hey, I'm kind of like probably rocking with what how Spinoza described God, that maybe there is a substance or a force that's not concerned with ethical and moral principles and protecting people and suffering. Maybe it doesn't have any concept of that. Maybe there's just something that came along as evolution evolved and stuff like that. Maybe it's on its whole purpose. Maybe God is just a function. I understood that. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is God because there is no feelings, if it makes sense. Feelings is something that we feel, because we don't feel a damn thing when we unconscious. Maybe God, like this ideal of God, is just a conscious, unconscious force, that just creates and destroys and stuff, and so it can evolve to whatever, maybe. Or hell, maybe we just a bunch of aliens that's fucking dreaming and shit. I don't fucking know. I just know there's no solid proof. That's why people have all these different religions and stuff. I just know there's enough proof to show that Christianity is not true, right? And that they purposely push a religion like that by putting in the book that a man so-called named Jesus claimed that 2,000 years ago that he was the truth and that he was the light and he was the only way. And then when you try to test the other promises that this so-called Jesus made, and when they don't work out, people want to get mad at you and, call you evil or demonic. And I'm like, okay, Jesus said he was the truth, the way, and the light, but he also said, ask anything in my name and it'll be given to you. You know what I'm saying? And he misinterpret, or maybe it was both different meanings. That shit is in there at least 3 times. There's 3 different verses says that ask in Jesus' name. And it doesn't say a few things or some things, or if it's in the will of God. It don't even say pray for the will. It literally says if you ask anything in my, so the Father can get the glory. So it's a promise that is made. And then with people like myself who see that, okay, well, a lot of things I don't pray in Jesus' name, and a lot of things that other people don't pray in Jesus' name. And I don't came across different stories. I did some research and found out when they was having them lynch mobs and they was at the burning, doing little demonic torturous stuff to black people back in the day. When they was doing all that stuff, there was a lot of black people screaming and calling out Jesus. Then they was asking Jesus to save their life before somebody hanged them or burned them up. Even the story of I forgot the kid name, but the youngest person to be executed here in America was like I think he was like a 13-year-old kid, a black kid. They when they executed that young man, if anybody want to put his name in the chat, if y'all know who I'm talking about, if you know the story about, I think he was like 13 or 14 year old. They accused him of murdering 2 white girls, even though he didn't do it, but they just had to blame somebody for the murder, so he wound up because he admitted that he saw them before the murders, so they put a pin on him, that they executed this boy. He was like young, I think he was like 13, and that his body was so small and he was so short that he couldn't even reach the electrical chair. Was too big that his head couldn't even reach the mechanism that they put around their head that they finna electrocute you with. That they use Bibles to stack this boy's body up. What's his name? George Stenning? Yeah. Thank you for putting the name, Choco Kitty. But that even when you just think about stuff like that, saying that the Bible is the word of God, and the Bible is and there's power in the name of Jesus, and the Holy Ghost, this, like, I was like, what kind of God would even allow allow a child to be electrocuted, right? Electrocuted for a crime that he didn't even do, a child, and that these people even use a stack of Bibles to prop him up so he can fit inside the mechanism, right? Like, when you just think about it, when I be like, and even if when I say white Jesus, they be like, well, Jesus ain't white, okay, black Jesus still allowed it, right? That's the deep stuff. Like, when you really just sit up here and think about that, when I was reading those diaries and some of them articles where the people was saying that as these people was about to get hung or they was getting burned and stuff, they was screaming out Jesus, and they said it seemed like I found a TikTok the other day, I might post it, where another guy who was repeating the story, he was saying that he was reading the articles where the louder that they screamed for Jesus, the louder the crowd began. Like, it's like they got off on the suffering, that they knew Jesus wasn't gonna come and save these people. Even when Sonia Massey, I don't know if y'all remember, because I covered her story, when somebody decided that they was gonna throw shoot her in the face because she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and just tried to lie, said she was gonna throw hot water on him, even though he the one who told her to dump the damn water hot. She wouldn't even been nowhere near the damn pot if he didn't send her over there to turn it off and pour the water out. But even with that, she said she rebuked him in the name of Jesus. And so, no shield of protection at all. Blasted in the face. They need y'all to believe that this religion is protecting y'all to keep you safe, but it's not. It's clearly not. Black people, especially in these southern, there's a church on every damn corner. And how the hell we still dealing with racism? Because you got the dummy Israelites, the most delusional religion out of all of them, right? To cope, because they don't want to give up the ideal of God. They just don't want to give up the indoctrination because they're so psychologically connected to it. To cope with it, these group of people wind up convincing themselves to take a few scriptures out of the Bible. It's still the identity of people in the Bible that most likely didn't even exist. And if they did exist, it was a small group of shepherds that came from out of the Canaanite community. A Canaanite war god, a group of people who broke off from their tribes in that area in the what they call it, what's the name of that area? The Levant area. Even if they did exist, they wasn't no great nation of people, right? But they was to deal with it because they so psychologically connected. They rather believe that they are cursed. They'll say, okay, yeah, we curse like the white people say we are, but we're not cursed from under the book of Ham. We curse from being an Israelite. So they decided to accept the foolishness that black people are cursed, right? Even the Muslims, because y'all wait till y'all break that down. Even in their teachers, they believe that black people are cursed. And the sign that we are allegedly cursed is the texture of our hair, but that's a whole nother Bible study. You can thank Farrakhan for that one. But they decided to still look through the Bible and try to explain oppression and they suffering. So they convinced themselves that they damn curse. Right? And I'm laughing because my dumb ass felt for that shit. I was one of the people that fell for it, sure did. Sure did. Because of the indoctrination, mental health, right? That's why I share my story with y'all a lot. That's why I talk about it on here. That regardless of all this dry ass beef and shit that I've been going with these damn. Tell her story. Trust me, some of y'all gonna be like, okay, a villain was born that day. Like you realize why she spent all her energy trying to make people hurt, and it's because she was hurt. Like what happened to her was fucked up. But you know, I was one of those people that it was like easy for me to fall for that, like fall for the indoctrination and the Israelites. This is how they get you. Cause y'all know I like to tell y'all to give y'all the game in case one of them try to convert you. This is how they get you. They purposely, when they first come at you, they gonna tell you things that's actually true that the average Christian don't know about the Bible, right? Like for instance, how one of them got my attention is that he said that Jesus' name wasn't Jesus, right? Now mind you, Black American indoctrinated as shit. Well, what you mean his name ain't Jesus? I'm looking at the book. It says Jesus. Everybody I know that you go to church says his name is Jesus. That's how they get you. They'll give you something that's actually is true. There was no letter J 400 years ago. They made the word up. It's a Greek name that's been transliterated, and now they pronounce it as Jesus, when certain religions might have had to pronounce it Isis or whatever. But Jesus was a Jew. He was Hebrew. It would have been something like Yahshua, or Yeshua, depending on the translation. Because remind y'all, I keep trying to tell y'all the reason why they don't know the proper translation is because the language died. That's another thing that a lot of the Israelites don't want to admit. That they have no idea how to pronounce those fucking words. They just be making them up. Because that language died. Like nobody was speaking it at one point. So that's how they give you. They give you half truths. I mean, they'll give you something that's absolutely true. You go do the research. You blown by it. Me, I get a little curious because I'm like, well, I don't know. Go do some research. Go do some studying. Find out all the contradictions or the words that have been changed and stuff. So then you fall for it, because then they'll start telling you this, and then they'll try to help you interpret the Bible. And if you read Deuteronomy 28, they manipulate it in a way that it does sound like it describing black people, right? But if you read it closely, it's actually describing anybody who lives on the property. That's people who live in any country, right? So they try to say, the scattering shit. And I was like, we're not the only race of people that live everywhere though. But okay, that's a different story. But they'll twist it. They're like, they make you believe it. And then that's how they get you. But they didn't know that when they taught me how to research stuff to debunk the Christianity teachers, they didn't realize that was going to lead me to do a lot of their research, and I was going to debunk they fucking beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, it was on and popping once I found out it wasn't no original manuscript. And I was like, what the hell? So we have no idea what the original people who wrote this, so we don't know if any of this shit is right or wrong, true. Like, man, these people could have been corrupt and changed some shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how they get you. And I feel like even with us, like when I just keep thinking about the price of being black, because again, they don't broke us down so bad here in this country. I mean, literally. And then the crazy thing is, they broke us down so bad to the point that they don't convince us to hate ourselves, and then other people from other nations hate us, right? Like you seen the Asian people talking shit, and we looking at them like clearly black people are not racist towards Asian people, because we the one where y'all come into our community, we support the community, we go and purchase your goods, right? But we were upset not at Asian people, at Rick Chow. You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to stop not eating Chinese food because of what Rick Chow did. I just wanted Rick Chow to go to jail for taking a child's life, being reckless with his weapon. But somehow they don't turn this into a race thing, that you have Asian people on there talking shit to black people. One guy told us he dared us to boycott. Now he looking stupid, because one thing about TikTok, you I don't know why he thought it was a good idea to challenge the people who's the front runners of boycotting, who perfected it, right? Black people in America. I don't know why he challenged us to, like, as if we wouldn't or couldn't do that. And again, it's because we're known for being the most generous people, most welcoming and stuff. So I think, you know, they look at it and look at that as a weakness amongst us, all right? But they did a good job destroying us, man. Every time I just keep thinking about it, I don't see videos of African people talking shit to us, even though I'm not gonna be one of those people who go join the FBA community just because some ignorant ass African people talking shit. I know that the reason why they can bring their asses over here and benefit from the things that we benefit from, because it was my ancestors that shed the blood. We the one who had to do the fighting and the dying and the, you know, advocacy and the court. And, you know, a lot of people had to, you know, black people is the reason why we have the civil rights that these Asian people who talk shit to us and these Africans that come over, or any foreigners that come over. It's like, y'all know y'all got this off of the blood, sweat of black people. But then y'all come over here and everybody just hate us, you know? And I said, well, white supremacy is something else. It is something else. We already have to deal with the hate amongst ourselves. Now on top of that, we got to deal with everybody else hating us. You say I already wasn't eating that shit. Look, I ain't gonna even cap. I love Chinese food. Now I ain't gonna lie, I haven't ate any lately, and not because of the rich child stuff. Back when I was home, Queen Ye will tell you, back home, we got a little Chinese restaurant not too far from the house that we frequent a lot. But because I haven't been home, I just haven't been eating it. But if I was home, I would be eating it. Like, we eat there pretty often. And I think since I've been away from home, I think I ate Panda Express like one time. So, but it's not, I like Chinese food, but Chocolate Kitty, I'm fat. Like, I ain't turning down too many meals. I think it was you who was telling me you was from New Orleans. I'm thinking about visiting there again, celebrating my birthday again out there. Because again, I'm trying to decide between there, Chicago, and Washington DC. There's been a lot of people promoted, a lot of restaurants out there. Like they food culture starting to you know, take off. So I guess it's some, you know, I heard that it's pretty good out there. And then I heard Chicago has some of the best food. Even though I don't drove my truck a few times to Chicago, I never got a chance to actually eat. I think I had Chinese food the last time I drove to Chicago. I think I ordered me some Chinese food, had it delivered to DoorDash. So I didn't get a chance to try the food in Chicago, but I heard there's a buzz out there that they got good food too. But I'm leaning more towards either Chicago or New Orleans, more popular New Orleans though. Because I went, I think the year before, and I was like, next time we kind of got our idea of how we want to travel next time. So, but it's just with that price of being black, I said, damn, it seems like everybody just hate us, even though we are the most influential. Like, we're the most like people copy like everything that we do. Like, people just love just stealing our culture. TikTok, I swear TikTok was made just so these people can steal black people, black artistry, black creativity, black ideals, find more ways to market shit and sell it to us. I swear that's what TikTok was made for. I don't care what nobody say, right? But I don't know, sometimes when I just be, there's some, don't get it twisted, there's some Asian people that get it, they ain't with that racist shit, but I do be getting mad. I be like, if they really hate us so much, if we are a bunch of thugs and murderers and thieves and all that shit, even though common sense would tell you, if you open up your establishment in a poverty-stricken area, poor people steal, no matter what color they are, okay? They gonna steal. So you gotta do a better job protecting your assets, or learn how to just write your losses off. They're gonna steal from your ass. right? But if you build a respectable relationship with the community, the black people will actually start protecting your store, and they will, help you with anybody stealing your shit, right? So, but some of them don't understand that because to them, we just dumb, blindly, dumb and blind and stupid, and as long as we know how to spend the money, they just target us. But they boycotted the shit. I don't know if y'all been on TikTok, but they boycotted a lot of Asian places because that man said that shit. So, and I said, I don't know why he charged black people. Look what black people did to Target. Knowing that black people love us some damn Target. I tell people sometimes I put on full clothing. I actually put on clothes and make sure I look decent and presentable because I feel bougie when I go to Target, okay? Walmart, I'll walk with flip-flops on and gym shorts and a t-shirt. I ain't never dressed up anytime I went to Wally World. But Target, when I used to go to Target, I ain't walk through there with no flip. I used to actually put on clothes to shop from Target. But yeah, but I remember we boycotted it too at one point. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw her under the bus right now. We gotta get your dog. This is the only place that had a dog. Like, for your dog, yeah, we're trying to hit this shit. Now it's But yeah, so just again, the price of being black, man, when I just sit up here and think about it, I was like, I knew. That's why I didn't even want to follow the case. I didn't even want to. Maybe I was still bummed out for what happened with Rich Child getting away. Every now and again, we can celebrate a victory because the white woman who shot AJ and Infinite, they did lock her crazy ass up. So somebody got it right in Florida. They got it wrong with Trayvon, but they got it right with the black one. The black mother was shot. I just couldn't figure out the way. Trust me, if they could have found a way to spin that, she would have. But I think even the white supremacist was like, we don't know how to defend this. She shot through the door, But and hopefully what's that man's name? Chud the Bitter. I don't really know much about him, but he, a lot of people is predicting that he ain't gonna get off. The racist guy that was going around provoking black people to respond to him. Then put a gun when he pull a gun on him, or should he have a gun when a black person is ready to knock the racism out his ass, using the N-word or so. Even though I'm actually low-key proud of a lot of black people, especially, who were interacting with him, because a lot of them didn't even just, either they roasted his ass, like, trolled him, roast, or they just didn't, entertain him. They just kept on, about their business. They just didn't give him the attention that he was looking for. But he fucked around and, met the right black person, a black veteran who had PTSD. So his mental health probably allowed him to just say, fuck this, fuck this man, But yeah, like I'm telling you, I just keep thinking about the Karmelo Anthony. I'm gonna try to do even though I can't promise, but I'm gonna try to do the best I can and not talk about religious stuff in other people's chat, because I know a lot of people don't like me and not feeling me no more in these communities because of how I'm so vocal about religion. It's only because you know how like when you know something is like a fucking scam, like when you just like once you realize that you get hoodwinked. I don't know if anybody went through that emotion, because I did. Because when I first deconstructed from Christianity, I was talking cash motherfucker shit. Like you think these people think I'm harsh with what I'm saying now. They should have seen what I used to say about 4 or 5 years ago. Right? I think I'm a little more gentle than I was before, because I used to be on it. But I think it's because the anger that come across you when you realize that you like this whole system is a lie. Like you realize that this Christianity is the biggest lie ever told, And I say that because it's the most popular religion, it's the number one religion in the world. But when you wake up from that shit and you just realize that it's the biggest lie ever told, you know, there is a little like resentment. It makes you get angry. And especially when you connect the two, when you realize that the driving motivation fuel behind that is white supremacy. And that mentality that they really think that they have the authority to just take over and run the world and make people conform to their ways. That they just think that they supposed to be, because right now they are the modern civilization that people look forward to as the people who are more advanced. Even though I personally disagree with that, because I've seen videos in Japan. You know what I'm saying? I don't see more technical advanced countries in Japan and in the Middle East, but you know, they gotta put up this image that, you know, the European countries are the more advanced. They gotta put that up, you know. China had self-driving cars at least 10 years before we did, right? But, you know, or Japan, one of them countries, it's China, Japan, but even like I said, like, I gotta pay attention to come across this way station. Gotta make sure you don't want to get in trouble not paying attention with them. Yeah, when you just, it's an anger. It's like a little resentment. Hey, real one. I don't know how long you've been in here. If there's anybody who said hey to me, and I'm driving, so of course I can't read the screen, but anytime I look over at the GPS, I can see y'all comments a little bit. I just can't focus on reading it, but I can see your name. But what's up, real one? I don't know how long you've been in here, but I'm not in no. I'm gonna go back and look at those comments when I review this video tonight. But I'm just going live now to help with my algorithm, and I won't be able to do a show. I probably won't be able to do a show. I might be able to do a show tomorrow night. It depends if I can deliver my load early at a decent time. But I know tonight I'm gonna be driving clear up until like 9 o'clock. So, but I think it's this anger that I like you have when you be like, you know how you just want to shake people up and say, wake up, this is a lie, wake up, you're under a spell. Like, that's probably why subconsciously I connect a lot of that stuff to the Matrix thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody who's seen the movie The Matrix is one of my favorite times, right? And it's maybe because I see it like that, because waking up from Christianity or any Abrahamic religion does feel like you're unplugging from a system. And just like when Neo in the movie, like when he was in the real world, he was telling Morpheus and the other crew that his eyes hurt when they was checking on him to see how he feel, and he complained that his eyes hurting, right? And then Morpheus looked over at him and told him it's because you never used them before, right? This man, he existed, right? He existed in reality, but he was in an induced, and the only thing that kept him alive while he grew was the machines that had him hooked up to all these types of technology and gadgets and fluids that kept him consciously asleep, that put him unconscious. Even though he felt like he was conscious in the world he lived in, he was still unconscious, and they kept him asleep. So that's kind of like how I see it, right? Because if people would put aside their fears, right? Because I know how hard it is. The concept of hell is very scary. Like, trust me, I get it. I'm not judging anybody who hit fear hellfire. Hell, I fear hellfire. That's what led to the psychosis, right? But if you ever brave enough and just like decide to just, look up the claims, look up the things I'm saying, or look up what other people saying, because there's plenty of deconstructing videos out there. Go look up this stuff. It's like when you, and then the thing is, this what blows me is that it's not even hidden. Like this stuff is not even, it's not even hidden, right? You go look it up and you just realize that damn, this shit ain't even real. You know what I'm saying? Like, they taught this stuff so black people could be docile and accept all this oppression and mistreatment and treated as low class and second class citizen, even though we still, some of us are just like a weed that grows through a concrete. Some of us are just resilient. Some of us come from some resilient bloodline that through all these obstacles, and they have some black people out here still rising. You feel what I'm saying? Not giving up. So regardless of how people feel about my race, the main thing I like about being a black American is that we resilient. We come from a bloodline of survivors. They can try to, downplay that and say we descendants of slaves, who survived. Right? We survived. And still like pressing on. So I never be ashamed. So people tried to literally destroy us with crack at one point. And when they was hanging and setting them on fire, feeding kids to alligators, their God enough, they bloodthirsty God, do the crack thing. And then even when now, I feel like the way that they now, messing with us, I'm starting to think that they doing it now through a lot of the medicine. When we get sick in our bodies and, go to these hospitals, I think now finding a way to low-key, control our population through our medication, our medical system, and then the food they, purposely put fast food for black people and people of color go to and make that food cheap and affordable, make healthy food expensive. It's crazy when a salad costs more than a damn cheeseburger. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm definitely riding through some mountains. Change. Your body will start giving you signs and warnings and stuff like that. So I'm definitely like making sure I'm focused on that. But even when I see the cold, like I said, just seeing the cold, I don't fault with the Bible, but one thing the Bible got right when it says that the love of money is the root to all evil. Majority of the suffering that we do endure here on earth, it's just so people can hoard resources, hoard money. It's ridiculous. That's why I think being a billionaire is unethical. I say that shit all the time. I was supposed to do a debate. I've been waiting for somebody to challenge me on that. That being a billionaire is unethical. For you to be a billionaire, statistically, somebody has to starve to death here in this country, in this world. Not even country, this world. For people to hoard that much finances and resources. For you to have that status, people literally have to starve to death. So, but the powers that be, they know. That's why they not afraid. They know this damn religious shit is stupid, and to make y'all think, that so people won't rebel against them. They purposely put the story out and gave you a story that told you that a God is going to get them back. Like that's so the people won't actually rise up on their own. They sit up here and teach y'all that bullshit about God and revenge and stuff, and it's just so you won't try to seek it yourself. You'll just sit back and follow their rules and be their labor and die believing in that stuff. That's why they put it in the book. So people won't retaliate or rebel, or because as much as some people might be hating on the Asian community, the most realest shit that I ever heard an Asian man say to Americans, period, not just black men, he was like, y'all need a revolution. Like he was like, y'all need to rebel against your fucking country, your government, because they trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, people shouldn't be living like this. Can't afford to buy a damn home. You don't work your whole fucking life, but you won't. Some of us won't even become homeowners, right? Making us like work our fingers to the bone to buy vehicles that are manufacturally designed to only last about 10 years on purpose, so you can keep buying a new car every 10 years, but make the car so goddamn expensive that you can't even afford it. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you just know, because I be laughing now when I be reading it, and then when I be hearing people say stuff, like, I probably shouldn't have said it, but I just was annoyed. One time I was in upper chat, and somebody kept saying God was going to give rich child, and I was like, okay. That's the problem. That's the problem right now. God, y'all waiting on God to get rich out. Why the black people can't come together and get rich out ourselves? And I ain't talking about like hurting the man or anything, but make him wish that he would have never opened up a fucking black business in a black neighborhood and unalive a black child. Make his life inconvenience his life so bad that they think twice, thinking that it's open season on black people. That's why they want y'all to believe in the religion. I get it. When I seen the play and I seen it for what it is, and when they say the Bible say the money is the root to all evil and all that stuff, and I said, yeah, they give you just enough to make y'all really think that a God is going to come and retaliate and spank the evil rich people for all the shit they've been doing. And I'll be like, y'all better wake up, man. I don't even know what it's going to take for some people to wake up. Now, I don't want none of y'all to go through what I went through, though. You feel me? For me, to wake up from this scary matrix and then get unplugged, the girl had to go through temporary psychosis, right? And I remember my ass at one point when I was a little ignorant, right? Because when I was a Christian, I made a lot of ignorant statements that I definitely don't walk back and changed up or whatever. But I remember when I was a Christian, I used to tell people that I wanted them to go through temporary psychosis like I did, right? Because if that's going to save your soul, then you get to go to heaven and not in hell. I want you to experience what I went through, even though I went through, and I'm going to be honest with you, even the people that I hate, y'all know the people who I hate, the bitch that's fucking with me now, and a few others, even the people who I hate with a fucking passion. Even though I can't stand, I'm not saying hate like in a biblical stance, because I'm not religious. I know some of them pass the fuck out when I say hate. Hate just means a very strong dislike. Okay, strongly dislike. I just want people to know how far it's more than dislike. It's a strong dislike. So I use the word hate because it's the proper word to use, right? But even though I can't stand these bitches and don't even care if half of them die, right? One bad eye. I mentally don't, because death is not a punishment to me. That's another reason why I keep telling y'all, get your panties out your butt, because I don't see death as a punishment like everybody else do. But anywho, as much as I can't stand these hoes, I don't even want them to experience my psychosis that I went through. It was the scariest shit ever. I don't know if y'all ever met anybody who ever went through temporary psychosis. Because some people, don't come back. Majority of people who experience a form of psychosis, they usually don't bounce back from it. They stay crazy the rest of their goddamn life, right? But I'm just so grateful that my brain was able to rewire. You know what I'm saying? Some people, they got to go into a coma, or they have to get extreme measures to get their brain to rewire. I was able to rewire my shit just by logic. I I tell people all the time, logic is what balanced my brain out, you know. Because at first I used to give it credit to the religion. I used to say it was Christianity that balanced my brain out, to an atheist daggered me and told me that, bitch, it was well, he didn't say bitch, I'm just paraphrasing, but bitch, the religion is what made you go crazy. Then you say X, Y, and Z, and Z, Y, Z is what happened. The religion is what led to your fucking psychosis. And you cope with it by turning into religion, but you didn't really get better until you stopped believing in it, and that's true. Like I told them, all the demonic attacks and all that shit went away when I started believing in it. Right? So, but I don't know if y'all met anybody who went through that. That shit is like that, and that's another thing why I can't be atheist, but I be trying to explain that shit to people. It maybe because I know that feeling, like that feeling to dissociate, and or when you literally, like, with the inner feeling of you know how I teach over here to y'all. I teach y'all all the time that you and yourself are not the same. Your body is not you. You is the observer. Being that, I think reason why I understand that more perfectly now is because I know that feeling of trying to hold your shit together, right? Like, you can feel yourself separating from yourself, or even dealing with that dissociate. If you ever dissociated, like it's like you're out. You can literally like see yourself, but then you're outside yourself. Some scary shit. Like, you literally feel like your mind is separated from your body, right? But with me, you know, when I was going through my shit, panic attacks, I was literally, it got so bad that, and I, you know, sometimes I'll be wanting to find those old videos, because I know old girl is on the hunt, so she probably looking for them, so I don't care. It might help me tell the story again. But sometimes I'll be wanting to find those old videos that my panic attacks used to be so bad, right, when I used to be a Christian, that I used to have a panic attack every hour. I had one where I couldn't breathe. My heart would shoot up to about 140. You know, I mean, shoot up. I couldn't breathe. I would sweat. Sometimes I would lose my hearing. Couldn't hear anything because I'm in this fight mode. You know, like it used to be terrible. And they still used to have to get up and go to work and still try to like act like everything fine. But in my mind, I'm like, my brain is just losing it. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm just holding it together, holding it, you know. Sometimes I just go in the cooler and just cry. I was like, trying to get myself to calm down, but my brain was just always on 10, you know. So that shit used to be scary as hell, man. Waking up, can't breathe, you know, shaking, like that shit used to be wild. But then I was fighting it, like, hold your shit together, you know. And that's just some of it. I ain't gonna be telling y'all a lot of stuff, because I know that bitch might be in here watching, trying to find every little thing I'm saying and try to push that as more that I'm crazy. Right? But anywho, I know I'm good, because I have proof that these people documented it and said that I overcame temporary psychosis. So I don't care what some fucking hoes on the internet say anymore about it. But I just know how bad it used to be. I ended a relationship because of it. I even tried to dress up and purposely look more feminine, right? Trying to conform to society. I even did that, you know. Feminize myself, tried to wear my hair a certain kind of way. I wind up adapting a natural hairstyle. I wind up growing my locks. But I remember I did all, and this inside my brain, like holding it together. Like sometimes if you could just see that I was like struggling, like even through the smile, like, man, that shit used to be crazy as fuck, bro. I don't wish that shit on nobody at all. Even the hoes I hate, they have no idea how scary that shit is, man. So to feel like you just have a heart attack every hour, you know. But wind up getting married, you know, going to church, convincing myself that homosexuality was keeping me from a relationship from God and shit like that, you know. And then after getting, I had joined, I think I was in the cult before I got married. Just my ex-husband wasn't an Israelite. He was a lukewarm ass Christian, but even that, falling for a cult, dealing with that shit with my marriage and stuff, and I think I realized that I know when I began to like wake up, you get what I'm saying? And then I began to like freak out about that shit. I remember I started having panic attacks and freaking out about that shit because I was like, damn, I'm getting punished because like the Bible teach that God will see you a delusion or he'll remove the faith from you as a punishment depending on how you interpret the scriptures. So I'm freaking out thinking that I don't piss God off so much that he won't even let me believe in him anymore, right? Like I mean my brain is, I'm telling you, anything I could think of, I thought of it, right? But I remember I was freaking out behind that. But then, you know, I ain't gonna lie. Once I just like logic just kept on with logic, just like was overshadowing my beliefs, and hearing people like Kevin Wesley. That's why y'all probably wonder why, you know, even though when I was going through my back and forth with him, a lot of that probably had something to do with her. And me just being disappointed when they tell you not to meet your heroes. When they tell you never meet your heroes, I learned that lesson that day because I was one of the people who damn sure used to put Kevin on the pedestal, right? But even like coming across Kevin, coming across Callie's videos, slow this damn truck down, boy. This truck pushing me down. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me focus on this. Too fast. I got a heavy load, so it's definitely pushing me down. It's downgrade. But yeah, so again, you know, coming across Kevin's videos, Callie's videos, even when I was involved in coming across Sinetta's videos, I think I came across Sinetta's videos in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Some of those videos that the fucking the tweaker keep playing for y'all or trying to, you know, I don't know why the bitch thinks she can humiliate me on stuff that is like in the past like well documented, but playing videos of me supporting Sinetta before I found out the nigga was a goddamn perv. Like everybody know that's how the whole beef like popped off between me and him, going back and forth with me, you know, with his crazy ass internet girlfriend, the drama between me and her, that crazy bitch, that I ain't know nothing about that man and his friends and community. I definitely would not support anybody who engage in no shit like that, or in the community like that, being that I am a survivor of sexual abuse, especially starting at a child. But you know, I know it's crazy because the desperate like literally trying to find something, and she really ain't got nothing. So the best she can go find is some old clips of when I supported Sinetta before I found out the truth about Sinetta. But she down sure won't play none of the clips of me taking that nigga down, right? She won't play none of those clips. Or even when, you know, even with on the My Aunt Forever nigga, when I, you know, humbled his ass, right? But even when I came across Sinetta's, like, it's a lot of people who I met through him or got introduced to, like Phil Valentine is an example, or what's the guy's name? Walter, what's the dude's name? I forgot his name. It's Walter something. Walter White? Not Walter White. I forgot his name. It's Walter something. Like some of the guys who I already knew Ray Hagen's before Sinetta community, but it was a lot of people that when I came across, you know, Sinetta's platform, it was more, I found more conscious, whatever they would call the conscious community, like conscious material, you know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorites is he forever gonna be my favorite of all time. The reason why I enjoy studying Kemet, in the little time I did study Kemet, was a guy named Jabari. I think it's Jabari Ozazi, I think. Like learning a lot from him. I just remember like that all that shit just like really helped with stabling me the fuck out. Like learning all this stuff and educating myself. And I felt like a little kid in the candy store because I was like, I never knew none of this stuff. But you know, they tell you if you want to hide something, you hide, especially from black people, they tell you put it in a book. You know, so these guys made me want to study a lot of stuff. Oh Lord, what they got going on? Hey, slow down, blue truck, slow down, don't you hit me. Turn these flashes when he showed driving like he don't see the traffic stopping. That's the only thing that's scary to y'all about being a truck driver. You could try to be as safe and as careful as you can, but if you got a distracted driver behind you, man, I seen a couple of videos where distracted drivers run into the back of people or other trucks, man, that shit be terrible. So I'm one of those people that every time I slow down, I turn them flashes on every time, just in case they ain't paying attention, and you know, they can at least by the time they look up see that the flashers on and they know to start slowing down. So, but that shit be scary as hell. They be about, some of them be about running the back of you. So you can't control how other people drive. You only control how you drive. So all those people who was telling me, they be praying for me, you know, yeah, I know I only accept prayers from the righteous people, but but to all the people who send righteous prayer or just energy to keep me safe out here, I appreciate it, because it's a dangerous job, you know what I'm saying? A lot of obstacles and stuff, a lot of stuff can go wrong. Somebody unhooked one of my airlines, well, I think somebody unhooked my airline. One of my friends said that it probably fell off. I don't know. I told him I'm not really sure. I think my gut is telling me that somebody was playing games, because you get a little psychos that like to fuck with other truck drivers and unhook their airlines or pull their fifth wheels so they can have to pull off and drop their trailer because they get entertainment out of it. So, but we gotta be careful out here, y'all. So I appreciate those who've been saying it. And hope I stay safe. Because trust me, I'm doing everything I can to stay safe. But you know, there's other people on the road too. So all I do is just purpose and destiny and pray and hope for the best. So you said Phil Valentine is deep into metaphysics. I love Phil Valentine. The only thing I don't like about him is he do be saying a little homophobic shit sometimes. But you know, I'm one of those people. I'm not that sensitive because I know how how like just like racism is taught, homophobia is taught too. So I'm a little more like I kind of just ignore the homophobia, and I just try. I come there I listen for the knowledge and then ignore the other ignorant shit. So, because it's a lot of the conscious community niggas that's homophobic, and there's a lot of them motherfuckers like children. A lot of Sarnetta's group, a lot of them they're attracted to kids, you know. But they just swear being gay is the worst thing on earth. And I was like, oh, so men who like to have sex with kids is not one of the worst things in the world, you know? But to them, I guess it's not. But yeah, it's a lot. I came across a lot of stuff that woke me up. And then I still, like, you know, why a lot of people be watching each other and people, y'all want me to let y'all know in a little secret how I'm able to not go back and forth with some people who be trying to start with me or watch videos when that tweaker keep making videos about me. I be distracted while she making videos about me. I'm on YouTube watching other videos that's teaching me something. I'm like educating myself. I watch a lot of documentaries. I watch a lot of stuff about nature, the ocean. I watch a lot of religious debates. That's how, like, I be telling them that my YouTube history ain't gonna look nothing like your YouTube history. That's how I'm able to like ignore. Like when I know that the tweaker talking about me, I go find something that I like to watch. So it's hard. It's not hard to ignore. It's actually easy. I can find a distraction. I go educate myself instead of let somebody use their words to try to destroy my soul. But just like Beyonce say, you can't break my soul. You can't break my soul. I'ma tell everybody, good luck, bitch. I beat psychosis. Who the hell you thinking you are? Okay. But anyway, that's how I do it, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Like, just focus on things that I like to do. Focus. I watched a couple of videos on how to run my business. Now that I don't fuck with Jenny no more, I might just subscribe to. I might just go ahead and subscribe to somebody's channel that teaches stuff like this. So that's most like what I'm why, because I used to just call Jeannie if I had a question, if I didn't understand something. But since I don't fuck with her, no, I just find some type of business person like whose channel's dedicated and teach people how to run business and stuff. I just go get information somewhere else. So adapt. You know how that goes. Need y'all to put a bigger sign up because I almost didn't even see that sign. That's a tiny ass sign. I think I got good vision. Almost ain't even see it. It might get a little shaky here, y'all, because where I'm driving at, the signal is crappy as hell. I know every time I drive through this area, so it might get a little shaky for a second. And then I'm gonna have to go on mute real quick because I gotta do something that I don't need y'all to hear what I'm doing in the background. Because I got haters. Oh no, it ain't no spot. No, sir, did you take the spot? Why? Why is y'all all here? I'm gonna have to make a spot real quick. Then I can't even make. Where everybody help? This is some bullshit. Oh, that's that hurt. That's that hurt. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure something out because I got to. It's because these race car people. Okay, I ain't trying to hit you, sir. I'm just trying to get by. Excuse me. Y'all taking up the whole line. I'm gonna have to. I ain't got no choice though. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Hey, I'm still here. I just went on mute. But I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Can y'all hear me? I just had to go on mute for a quick second. Can y'all hear me? Mic check, mic check. Oh, yeah, y'all hear me. But yeah, so. Man, why this shit unplugged, bro? Alright, I'm gonna just do it this way. How much? Oh, I'm fully charged. I tell y'all, if I ever find me a team driver, because I was about to see if I could hire a student, but if I ever decide to get me a team driver, I'm trying to get this money, okay? Trying to get this money. Okay, let's see if these motherfuckers let me. Would y'all let me? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Everybody ain't a smart truck driver like yourself. Thank you, my good sir. Appreciate you. Let me back. No, that's not turn signal. Well, it is the turn signal, but it's the blinkers. That's why I got them on. When I have to stop or do an emergency stop, or if I slow down under I think 45 miles an hour, I got to turn on the blinkers. I mean the flashers. But once I pick up some speed, I can turn it off. I got a real heavy load, slow heavy shit. So, but once I pick up some speed, I can take it off. I'm not there yet. I'm still under 45. But I had this. Could you hear it the whole time? I thought I muted the mic. Yeah, this load that I'm hauling right now is heavy as shit. Oh, okay. Alright, now I can't. Let's see. gave me for being the trainer, for taking that trainer class. But I think I'm gonna try to. I see some headphones. I think I might want to get because these batteries don't last long enough for me. I like my batteries to last a couple of days. But yeah, I'm back, y'all. But yeah, so just I have no idea where I left off at, but I probably was just rambling. But again, like I said, just like I think I seen when I was looking through some of the comments. Y'all remember I can't look at them while I'm driving. Queen Ye, did you say something about Austin? Not Austin. Anthony. Karmelo Anthony. Did you say something about they got him separate from population? Did you say something? I thought I seen a message like that. And I was just skimming through. Because like I said, I can't, when I'm driving, I can't read. I can't take the time to read it. I wonder why they got him separated. Because to be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. I think a lot of the black men in there, they probably gonna protect him and keep him safe from the skinheads. And the Proud Boys is in there, but he might be protected while he in there, because a lot of them probably gonna feel bad for him, but they know that he only in there because he's black. So I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if they gonna look out for him. That's why I said I was wondering that. I ain't never been to prison. I've been in jail, but I ain't never been to prison. So, I don't know if the ruling, the men be more organized from the stories I heard than what people think they is. And sometimes the inmates be the ones running the damn jail. But I don't know. Texas is its own type of country, I promise you. But I wonder what they like take them or whatever. At the end of the day, if they had to charge him with something, it should have been like manslaughter. That was no way that was not first degree murder. People been saying on the internet, like I said, sometimes a lot of it do be misinformation. That's one thing I don't like about my people, that we tend to do a lot, especially when we playing a game of telephone and taking second and third sources and stuff like that. But half of the stuff they saying is true. That boy should be able to get an appeal. I think the most conflict of interest is when I found out that the judge knew the Austin family. What they call Maycraft, I forget his name, Maycraft, whatever. They like fishing buddies and shit and hang out. They know each other. He should have been removed from that case. If that's a real photo, because people AI shit and be making up stuff. But if that's a real legit photo and he knew them, he should have removed himself from the case. That's the biggest like red flag. And then I also heard, you know, I don't know if it's true or not because I haven't heard nobody else report it. And again, y'all know I'm a type of person. I purposely don't spread misinformation. If it's something that I heard, I'll tell you I heard. But I heard on some other people platform that there allegedly there's a video, a damning video that kind of gave us more of an idea of what happened with Karmelo and the guy. Allegedly, that it was more physical than what they trying to let it off to be. So allegedly, there's a video. Even though I don't know if it, to me personally, if it really is a video, I don't see why it hasn't been leaked yet. You know, because I kept saying, man, if I had footage, like I'd leak that shit. But allegedly, there's a footage that actually shows more of Austin being the aggressor and how some of the other guys were in on it. Some of the other teammates and classmates, you know, basically was like, you know, low-key trying to intimidate Karmelo. So that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard. And they always tell you it's not about race. Everything these motherfuckers do here is about race. Everything is about race. Regardless, that people gonna have biases. Everybody has a bias. Black people, we don't have the economic power to be racist, but even we can be prejudiced. We can't be racist, but we can be biased, and we damn sure can be prejudiced. We know that the court systems, if you ain't got Diddy money, you better have a damn good, smart attorney, because maybe some of them, they be out for blood. They be looking for free labor. Like, it was kind of creepy. If you watch that, if anybody had watched this, I did follow the some of the Julio with the three boys that wind up getting convicted. Was it 3 or 4? I forgot how many it was, but wound up getting convicted for his murder. I think it was 4 boys. But if you listen to how they had brought in, this is around the time when they was trying to figure out whether they were going to give the boys the death penalty or life. They was trying to figure out you know, what to be the proper sentence. I thought it was creepy, they brought in a man who was an ex-warden. I guess he was a warden for like over 20 plus years, like he had over 20 years of work experience, but he's a retired warden, and now he just get paid to go to different court cases and tell the jury what jail would be like and whatever. And his job is to convince the jury that it's better to keep somebody in prison for, I guess, for life versus, you know, giving them the death penalty. And he basically said that these boys are young, right? And the state of Florida can get a lot of labor out of them. Like, it sounded like he was talking like modern day slavery, right? Like, he was saying that they young, that we can get many years of hard work out of them, like the way he was talking. And I was like, these damn boys don't threw their damn life away over some music beefing neighborhood bullshit, even though, again, you know, it's bullshit, but I kind of understand how these people can get wrapped up in it, right? Because PTSD is a real thing, you know. But they threw their life away and the guy who's there to convince the jury to give them life was just talking about like, man, they can get some good labor out of them, like they young and healthy, and yeah, we get a good years out of them. I'm like, these ain't slaves, nigga. These are human beings, but I guess, because of the law, if you become a prisoner of the state, I guess they can make you a slave. Because I used to hear stories when I talked to relatives that came out of jail and stuff like that. Man, them people get paid. Like one guy told me, one prison that he was in, they get paid 5 cents an hour. You get what I'm saying? Like it was like that bad at one point. I think he was saying they was getting like 5 cents an hour or some shit, or 6 cents an hour. So. Work a whole month to make $30, some shit. So, but I remember he was telling me about that shit. I forgot where I was going with that. Sitting up trying to read and stuff, but I don't know. But I just think about Karmelo though, and I was like, he ain't have a chance. I forgot where I was going with the Julio shit, but I brought that shit. I got distracted because I gotta pay attention, and I'm reading these signs to make sure I'm going in the right direction. But I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I think I'm going the right way. That's the right. Shoot, am I going the right way? Okay, that's okay. That end, that lane for the end. I'm telling y'all gotta pay attention out here because baby, especially like if you in Texas. One thing I used to tell people, boy, hey, boy, when you in fucking Texas, you better pay attention where the hell you going, because boy, you take the wrong exit, your ass gonna be outside the city, and you gonna have to circle around that bitch before you can get back to another exit that's gonna get you closer, because they have exits out there and you got no numbers on some of them, so you better pay attention where the hell you going. So I got distracted because I was trying to make sure I was heading in the right direction. Just thinking about this system, man, when you just see that the game is just rigged, man. Every fucking card is stacked, man. And like I said, like I earlier, if half of the stuff if I heard half of it is true, you get it, what, 35 years. Being black, sometimes we pay for it. We do pay for it with our lives sometimes. It ain't our fault. their skin color when they're born. But by the roll of the dice, if you get melanin skin like myself, a little rough. And imagine when people be wondering what I be saying, like not complaining, but knowing that even myself, I have a lot of cards stacked up against me. First off, I'm black. Second off, I'm a woman. Third off, I'm gay. I'm a lesbian, right? And then finally, I am not wealthy. Talk about whammy after whammy after whammy after whammy. One, I'm black. Number two, I'm a woman. Number three, I'm a lesbian. And number four, I ain't wealthy. I was like, damn, you know? I don't know, you know how some people believe you choose your life path? Well, I don't know why the hell I chose all the struggle. The struggle challenges. I don't know why I put myself up to that. I just know you can't control everything that I just named off. I necessarily can't control except for, to a certain extent, I can control the wealth. You know, if I can get disciplined enough to earn money, you know, like I said, because you can try to play by their rules, but every now and again they'll still find a way to humble you and let you know that they're allowing you to enjoy the freedoms that they give you. But the only one I think I can control to a certain extent is the wealth. I can't control my skin color, can't control that I'm a woman, you know, regardless of how many trans people agree with me or not, you know, being a woman is not a feeling, you know. But and I damn sure can't control what I am sexually attracted to or what I prefer. Definitely control that. Even when I tried to do it for religious, for Jesus. But it's funny though, because there's so many undercover gay Christian people, that should be funny as hell. They ain't one time preaching and teaching saying something wrong, but secretly be having lovers. So many undercovers. Right now I'm just rambling. I'm finna probably end this real quick because I know where I'm at. The signal do get really fucking bad. You know, but I might do a live tonight. You know, when I've been trying to do certain lives when I'm in my sleeper. Depending on how I feel, but I might do a little brief live. You know, talk about some stuff. But today, real quick, I just definitely wanted to talk about the Karmelo Anthony thing. Just every time I just kept thinking about it, I'm just like, with the type of mindset I have now, I would have got my baby out of this country. I would have not. I'd be like, these people are not gonna give my baby a fair trial. They gonna judge him by his skin color. They don't care that he was afraid. They don't care that he was assaulted first. They ain't gonna care that he a child. I kept saying, I said, if it was me, you know, but some people laughed at me when I said that. I said, it's easier to get out of the country than people think it is. Now, it ain't as easy as the movies make it seem like, you know, but you'll be surprised how people get the fuck out. We wonder how the hell they get in. You know, they can get in, just easy they can get in, they can get the fuck out. So, you know. But I don't even think I would have even allowed my baby to risk my baby stand that trial. Because I already know it wouldn't have been fair, especially in the type of city I lived in. get over, but y'all all thank you. Shoot, trying to help y'all out. Every time I keep thinking about it, because it's hard, it's heartbreaking. Okay, and then some of them don't get it. They be like, y'all defending the murderer, y'all defending the murderer. We're not defending the murderer because we don't think what he did was murder. Like that, they just don't understand. But then they would defend Rick Child. Like, it's crazy seeing the same people say we defended the murderer, but then they don't want to call Rick Child a murderer. Like, murder is about intent. Rick Child was just representing that he wind up killing one of them. Yeah, I'm going ahead and end this live. I catch y'all in the next one. Remember Nicole the Darkness. I might be able to do more like videos, just going like doing topics like this, just talking while I'm driving. Because like I said, I drive a lot, but I'm still trying to build my YouTube channel back up, trying to get back into a different algorithm or whatever. But I found a way to safely do this, so I ain't got to touch my phone. Because you're not supposed to have the phone in your hand. I'm allowed to do what they call one touch or whatever. So like I can end the live as long as it only takes one button, you know. But yeah, I can probably do these videos more often. Just go live to YouTube. See if I can get a couple of videos. Probably shake the table a little bit. Have a little controversial. Might do a prompt to say, prove to me Jesus is real. something to get people engaged, you know. Some controversial, get the people going, you know. So but alright, family, remember your life is your holy book. I'll catch you in another one. We are the Resistance family. We call the darkness. Peace.